Anya, yes? Person with name Circus Labulla.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I still don't know how to change it. But I have a question for you. I was listening to the lesson from before about the leadership roles, for leadership roles. And because I listened online, you said that there was a name of this guy and you wrote it in a chat, but I did not see chat. Can you
Oh,
just write again the name?
sure, I will. I'm doing it right now. By the way, just for video recording, I need to say hello, everybody who looking at us from your future to our past. I mean, to us. Today is 23rd of February, and we have our next session of Chance to Apply to Expert Training course, actually session number 8. And the topic of today's session is Leadership Skills Foundation, Responsibility, example, can do, can delegate, teach, cure, punish, how to improve mistakes, and so on. And now coming back to the question of Anya, the author of 4 Roles of Leadership, or in the original it were 4 Roles of Management. His name is Itzhak Adidis. Something like that. Could you please check the name? If you Google it, you can definitely find many books of him, many videos, and so on. And we are starting right now. So welcome to the beautiful world of leadership and management back, dear ladies and gentlemen. I am really happy to see everybody here. And yeah, so today we have kind of next session dedicated to specifically leadership, more than management. But of course, for me, all those two concepts are very connected. So technically, from my point of view, leadership is kind of way of managing a group of people that based on background skills, on some kind of unconsciously learned experiences, skills, and so on. When management, okay, it's leadership. Sorry, leadership is managing unconscious management, and management is actually kind of science of leadership. So managers want to learn how to become a leaders without being charismatic ones, but by learning some skills, implementing specific schemes, patterns, and so on and so forth. And when management is perfect and leadership is perfect, the result is the same from my point of view. So perfect management, perfect leadership brings to the same result. Very good development of organization, very good fast development of people in the organization, reaching the goals, getting real fun of the organization's activity and people within this organization, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's it. Do you have any questions right now, dear friends? Any questions dedicated to management or leadership? Very good. I'm free to tell whatever I would like to tell. So you giving me space, giving me permission to continue the way I wanted to continue. So just to start, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to remind you a few very basic concepts that are, from my point of view, very crucial, very vital for leadership and for leadership and for management. First concept is responsibility. You definitely need to accept the responsibility, take the responsibility for the results, for the people. And as in our previous session, by the way, there is kind of background noise from somebody of us, possibly from Anya. Please check, maybe you can mute it. Thank you very much. Now much better. Thank you, guys. Well, so responsibility, why I'm putting so much attention to that? Because for many kind of young leaders, people who didn't expect to become a leaders, responsibility becomes unexpected, additional unexpected workload, I would say overload. So they overloaded with those responsibilities. They feel it is hard, it is difficult to take this responsibility. People sometimes psychologically not ready for this responsibility. They don't expect that they group mates, I mean followers, group mates is kind of polite and tactful word for followers or for subordinates, if you wish. So these words are almost synonymous, but group mates are kind of like have less of subordination in this meaning, in its meaning. So coming back to the situation, when your subordinates or followers or teammates, if you wish, I prefer teammates always, they just ask anything. They just ask how to date with like handsome guy, how to how to cook, how to boil eggs, how to cook the omelette, or how whom to vote for on next elections and so on. And you do not expect that you becomes also your peers, those parts of guru charisma, like, because you are the leader. And yes, this is the responsibility. The responsibility either to accept all those questions and to reply, to answer, to recommend, and thus to, sorry for this word, somehow to manipulate the like behavior, manipulate in the way you didn't. You aren't supposed to manipulate, aren't supposed to rule them. Or on the other hand, to find willpower to reject, to like discard this role of guru. I said to you about this role of guru is kind of possible mistake of leader to become a guru, because we like just from like cold scientific point of view, we cannot know anything, and we never cannot know what is better for this particular person or for this particular country. So normally the person who accepts this guru position is normally is kind of, I mean, in average case, sorry for saying that, is kind of, this is a symptom of manipulator, of like person who prefer to manipulate others to feel the power, to like enjoy the power of ruling the minds of followers. So be careful with this situation, or just again accept it and became, I don't know, like, okay, it's not my role to like, imagine what is the future of such person. Anyway, be careful with this role, and for normal leaders it is not recommended to become this type of personality. Yeah, that's it. Responsibility. Next. Again, very difficult. Again, I told you about it in previous sessions. The example, what does it mean? You already have no space to step backward. You cannot show the weakness. You should be example in everything. I mean, what does it mean should? I'm not limiting you guys. It's up to you. But when the person become a leader, that person became the center of attention. The person can see a lot of followers in Facebook, in different social networks, because that person becomes visible for others. And that person becomes the magnet of kind of rumors and gossips, and from time to time, negative rumors and gossips, some kind of false, fake news about himself. Why? Just because other people become jealous about this leader, and they like don't like some leaders only because they aren't a leader, they aren't in the center of attention, but the leaders are in the center of attention. Well, yeah, this is kind of difficult situation. So you can unexpectedly see some kind of, this is not so positive attention to your personality. And this is very important, that you should become the example. You cannot have, or you have less and less space for private time, for private space. And I answered to some kind of questions from some of you guys, of our colleagues, about regeneration, like recreation of energy of professional trainer, leader, manager. And yeah, this is kind of a way to have very, like, to let nobody know where do you live, to like reserve specific time a day only for your personal like time, to sit, to relax, to spend time with your family, possibly some specific family members, or maybe people you love, people who energize you. Very private time, and nobody should have a right, I mean, nobody outside of your very private circle of relatives or family circle. Nobody have a right to find you within this circle, to like enter this circle, to call you. So this is the time for young leaders to, I mean, specific time when they switch off their phones and do not allow anybody to call them. And this is kind of very interesting. Like, it is not recommended to managers, at least in some highly productive spheres of economy, for example, in IT sphere, where a lot of money can be earned. It is highly recommended not to switch off phone ever. And managers in this sphere, they possibly can play the role of manager whole of the day. I mean, 24 hours, 7 days per week, so they can get the call in the middle of night. Why? Because just the team is spread around the world, and there are, for example, developer team in India and possibly kind of business team in the United States, and he's organizer from, I don't know, from, let's say, Estonia or whenever. He's kind of project manager, so he communicate, or maybe some like people from China. So those people have early morning when the project manager have 3 hours a.m. and business people just wake up when there is like 16 p.m. So yeah, for managers, there is no private time. On the other hand, it is you who should track your personal work-life balance. And this work-life balance became really crucial, really important thing on specific level of your personality, personal visibility, I would say, your level of leadership. How visible are you? And so the more visible are you, the more important for you to keep this invisible part of your life, not allowing anybody to enter this part of life, like for your family, for yourself. And on the other hand, the more important are you, the more people pretend to like occupy this time. I mean, to arrange this time for specific meeting, to ask questions, to discuss, and so on and so forth. So you should be an example. And at the same time, being an example, you should continue to do your typical work, I don't know, as youth worker, either, I don't know, any other, like just work to provide any kind of work, just this productive role of manager, you remember, possibly this 4 roles model. That's it about responsibility, a little bit about example. Any questions so far, guys? 10 seconds to ask, to think about it, to reflect. Please. If you ever felt tired about being a leader, about being a youth worker, could you please put the letter T, just T for tired, into the chat? If you ever felt you are tired of this job, of this work, I mean of leadership, not just production, not just by fulfilling your productive role, but by fulfilling all this set of 4 roles, like productive role, administrative role, entrepreneurship role, and integrated role. So yeah, if you ever felt tired, it means that you should track your work-life balance really well and find specific time for your life instead of your work. Good. And we're going further. Very important thing I possibly didn't tell about previously. I do not remember we discussed it, but I hope so. Can do, can delegate. I like this model. Can do, can not to do. Well, and welcome, Levan. So the leader supposed to be able to do the work, to make the work instead of any specific follower or teammate. And more important, the leader supposed to be able not to do this work. So the more skilled are you, the more followers you have, the more teammates, let's say, you have, the bigger team you manage, or the bigger team you lead, if you wish, the more people will like do something the way that you can do better, and you feel it. And this is very important for you. Okay, sometimes from time to time, when you teach those people, when you like transfer your knowledge, of course, to show how to do this, how to like to fulfill specific tasks. I mean, very productive tasks, very typical job tasks. of your job, not leadership job, but like your previous job before leadership, the jobs that made you a leader. On the other hand, it is even more important for you to give more space to the others, to your followers, to your teammates, to let them solve this task themselves, to let them fulfill those tasks themselves, to let them practice it, earn and obtain their own experience, their own skills. But it is again dangerous because the more skilled are they, the less important your personality for them, the less the distance between their skill and your skill. It is good because by doing that, you are creating more leaders. And in general, it is good for the world. The more leaders, the more people who can rule this world, who are active, who teach, who learn something, who teach something, who create organizations, who change the world in a better way, the better for the world. On the other hand, on some specific selfish level, it is possibly not so good for your organization because so good people became so good, so they feel they have not enough space for their, let's say, ambitions. They're too ambitious to stay within the organization. They need more space for their own ambitions, so they leave the organization. They leave your, let's say, a nest they grew up in, nest ruled by you, and they create their own nest, their own organization. And it's really good because you have more partners. You can create a very good partnership with those people. You already have your experience in talking to them and communicating with them. You know what do they do, how, and so on. And they respect you, possibly, but not always. So again, just to summarize, you're supposed, as a leader, if you pretend to call yourself a leader, you're supposed to know how to do any piece of work instead of your teammates or followers. And you're supposed to be able not to do any specific piece of work of your followers, of your teammates. Guys, what do you think about it? Any questions, feedback, something to clarify? Maybe it's your personal stories. Good. So we are going to the next level. And next level, yeah, I like once again this. I like this beautiful structure. Let me please turn our camera. Let me know if you can see or cannot see a small, tiny whiteboard I prepared for us. So let's say to teach, let's say to cure. Too far. Okay, let me try to do something. Let me know if can you see it now? Please post it into the chat if you can see. In any case, better. Okay, thank you very much. So to teach, to cure, and well, how to draw it, I don't know. I'm not good in drawing this stuff. Well, okay, let's do it this way. To kill. To teach, to cure, to kill. It's kind of an example, just to let you remember, of what the leader should do with people in the organization. If it sounds strange for you, please put a plus into the chat if you feel it sounds strange for you. Very good, at least one. I like it, yes. I like to provoke people. So what does it mean? Actually, this 3-level structure especially kill strange. Yeah, absolutely. That is why it was made for this. So you see, by the way, just an example of how to make any information more memorable, like to make you remember the information in better way, make this information very surprising. Yes, to teach, to cure, to kill. And now a little bit like of information about what does this mean for us, for leaders. Actually, it goes from Russian language. In Russian language, it sounds much better. Учить, лечить, мочить. Again, it means approximately the same. So it's on some Russian slang, it means to teach, to cure, and to kill. Well, to teach, pretty clear. Yes, people come to organizations, they possibly don't know how to make something, how to do specific tasks, how to fulfill, how to execute, and you teaching them, you sharing your knowledge with them. Yeah, it's like pretty obvious. Next, so no more questions about this, like to teach this topic. But next, to cure. What does this mean? From time to time, people can become not so loyal to you. People can start feeling something personal, maybe personal toward you, maybe personal toward others, maybe they feel tired, maybe they get professional burnout, maybe they just change any kind of their interests. For example, normally, as far as I have seen, people spend in any kind of hobby about 2 years. So they need normal people, if they find any new hobby for themselves, they normally spend 2 years in this hobby, average people. And after those 2 years, they take the decision either to continue and to make this hobby, to move it to any kind of professional way, or maybe just to, even if they have enough money, maybe to spend more money, so to go deeper into this hobby, or to leave it. So normally 2 years is kind of a critical point. So for people in your organization, again, 2 years is kind of critical point. Maybe in all organizations I take, like I worked with, 2 years, when people after those 2 years, they start thinking, well, is it really mine? Maybe I can change something. Maybe I can try, I don't know, ice swimming. Maybe I can try bicycle. Maybe I could try snowboard, or I don't know, like smoking water pipe or anything else. Yeah. So they're trying to look for something, so they have any kind of doubts in their head, and this is a way for you to cure, to discuss to them, to become a coach, to become a psychotherapist. And sometimes they have a conflict. One more very important thing, conflicts can appear in your organization, and conflict appear everywhere. And every time you remember this storming phase is the phase for conflict. It's typical space, typical time in a life cycle of the organization for conflicts. So yes, it's normal. Never afraid of conflicts, because conflicts are normal. Conflicts allows people to fit better to one another. Do you know this kind of specific chemical bottles with glass corks or tops that are kind of hermetic, and because they was I don't know. I mean, I have not enough English words for that. So this corks was rotated within this bottle to fit this bottle in absolutely perfect way. So this is just glass bottle and glass cork, and this cork provides this bottle with absolutely hermetic connection. So don't need any leather or any silicone. That's it. So that's how people fit better after conflicts to one another. Of course, if both of them, first of all, had a desire to survive in those conflicts and continue working together, and second of all, they managed to survive in those conflicts and continued working in this organization. And possibly it was made because of your help, because of your assistance, because you became this mitigator or moderator of this conflict. You moderated them and you helped them to solve this conflict, because you are skilled in conflict solving. Possibly yes, possibly no. So, but coming back, that's it. So you cure people, you helping them in difficult situations when they cannot, the situations they cannot overcome themselves. You're helping them to get back to the organization. If they again, doubts. You can talk to them if they have doubts and help them to stay in the organization, to continue following your goals, or maybe change the goals and go to another organization, start their own business, and so on and so forth. And finally, the most interesting part, the most intriguing and provoking part, to kill. To kill. What does this mean in our job? You have to have a willpower to stop the communication that brings to nothing. If you see that it's like impossible to continue working with that person, you should find internal strength to say goodbye to the person. Maybe you will be first who say goodbye to the person. Maybe you will be the second to say goodbye. Maybe that person say goodbye first. And sometimes those people are really good, are really pleasant and pleasant, and you really want to continue working with them, and they possibly even really useful. But yeah, that's time when it's over. And sometimes in some specific cases, those people just like became kind of dangerous to the organization. For example, some kind of typical cases of professional like reselling your secrets, or business secrets, to competitors, or they just maybe sabotaging your work because just they're too tired. They're very tired of your work. They got a really great professional burnout. They cannot continue working with the organization, but they continue because they have this internal strength to say goodbye, because like they're just too shy to come to you, especially when you're like big figure and you can move your eyebrows to the center and say, how dare you saying goodbye to me? No, stay and continue. So they're afraid of you because you're so charismatic, because you're a guru, you're so powerful and so on. So they're just afraid to say goodbye. So this is you who should say goodbye and save some life to that person, and maybe save some internal strengths and resources, psychological resources to yourself, and save a lot of resources for all the organization, because when this person really feel like the outsider here, it can be really dangerous. That's it. Good, guys. What do you think about it? Ideas, questions, reflections, maybe your stories? Is it become more clear now? What does it mean to kill people? To teach, to cure, to kill. Учить, лечить, мочить. Come on. Are there any alive people? If there are any alive people, could you please put into the chat the result of 7, 9 times? What is the result? Thank you very much. I see. Okay, you're awake. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christina, for your feedback. Very good. So once we have no questions, by the way, I'm not looking at my picture, so sometimes you can see like my head cut. If you don't like it, just let me know that my head is cut and you don't like it, because I'm not seeing, I don't see myself here. Anyway, we're going to the next level. Very good. How to improve your no, before how to improve, let's talk a little bit about another concept, very interesting concept. The qualities or competences, maybe I would say qualities of a leader. Please think yourself. Let me please draw some pictures for you guys on this whiteboard. But think yourself, which qualities of leader should we expect? Okay, which qualities should we expect a leader to have? And you're absolutely welcome to put either very short keywords into the chat, or maybe beautiful, understandable, clear, and full descriptions like why and what and so on. But yeah, the question is, which qualities the leader, a good leader, is supposed to have? And while you're doing that, let me please draw my vision, and I really hope your vision will add something to mine, and might possibly add something to your too. So the qualities of leader. I will change my marker. So do we have any answers? I'm just starting. Okay, I see. Communication skills, teamwork, creativity, good communication skills, strategic thinking, flexibility. Great, and please continue so we can compare our ideas on that case. So actually, I'm proposing you kind of idea from books, from very good, interesting books I really like. Well, and we can compare. Maybe there is something in those books you haven't found yourself. Which is great in that case. Well, how to write it, how to draw it. Yeah, let's just draw a book. And here we draw the calendar. Good. What else? No, it's wrong picture. And finally, yeah, by the way, I remember. Now I know how to draw it. Very good. I know how to draw it much better. Yeah, good, great, great. Well, and yeah. Good. So what do we have in our chat? Let me please check. Communication skills. Yes, definitely. We have it here. The communication skills, very good. Absolutely important in this list of 9 very important qualities I prepared. What you think? Yes, 9. Absolutely correct. Teamwork. 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 Is it a quality in the teamwork? Okay, let's consider it is. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is important, so we definitely can add it. Teamwork. Very good. Okay, maybe I can draw it because yeah, I draw everything else. So why should I write it? So I can draw it. So the teamwork is teamwork. Very good. Creativity. Well, I wouldn't say that creativity is crucial for leaders, but I really like when leaders are creative. And yes, it is mentioned here, or we can add it somewhere here, for example, like out of the box thinking. It is box, not just the square, but out of the box thinking. So creativity, if you don't mind. Good communication skills, yes, absolutely correct, Christina. Strategic thinking, wow, very good. I would, yes, absolutely correct, and we discussed it previously. So let's say, up, 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 to develop the strategy of reaching the goal. Very good. Flexibility, yes, totally agree. Uh, how to draw the flexibility. Let's draw it approximately here, and okay, flexibility. Well, yes, this is kind of person staying in this in arc shape. This is flexibility, and yes, this is kind of gymnastic mattress. Flexibility, good. Knowledgeable emotional intelligence, absolutely. Here is emotional intelligence I wrote. So understanding, or okay, empathy and emotional intelligence. So empathy is kind of more background, unconscious way of providing the emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence is more scientific. Like after learning some books, you can like demonstrate the skill of emotional intelligence, becoming as a result empathetic. Or there are different concepts, and possibly you have some other concepts, so it's still debatable question. But let's also have a look at those ideas from the books. What should be? So what is here? The physical appearance. It is typical and it is pretty normal, and we should agree with that, that people who look ugly doubtfully can become a good leaders. In some cases, they can, like for example, religious leaders, when being ugly, looking ugly, maybe some other like ideas, some other ways of being unusual, being non-conformist, is something that makes others, making yourself being more attractive for specific type of people. But in average, for like average people, the more beautiful are you, the easier people follow you. And you can check it by yourself, taking very dirty clothes, I mean, very cheap, old, damaged, dirty clothes, and go into the streets, you will possibly feel like how people react on you. People, I mean, people who don't know you. And yeah, that's it. Physical appearance. Next, so-called, let's say, a vision of a goal, a vision of like foresight. So it's really good. Okay, by the way, it's really well connected with strategic thinking. So it's approximately the same. So those ideas I wrote goes from very old-fashioned book, old school books. So yeah, understanding what is going on further in the future. So again, it is the same as strategic thinking wrote here. Next, intelligence, like skills, okay, just knowledge. A lot of knowledge about everything, a lot of knowledge about tools, about possibly your typical work, but knowledge about your work, and that so being just like skilled in your profession is one of very important things below here on the other side. So understanding of ways how conflicts are taking place and how to deal with them, how strategic thinking, how like again emotional intelligence, different concepts of leadership, of everything. Of course, guys, communication skills, of course, for sure, because you are going to deal with people. And to deal with them, you need to communicate. You need to exchange any kind of information, knowledge. And the better you do that, the better for your result and for your, let's say, for your, yeah, mostly results, process, for everything. Next, knowing your objective. Again, it is connected with the goals, with strategic, I mean, with strategic thinking. But one more thing, knowing your objective is sometimes this like understanding is the cooperation with specific person still benefits you or not already. Cooperation, maybe letting any specific person in your organization helps your organization, or maybe vice versa, maybe it destroys your organization. So again, understanding of your goals and comparing those goals with specific activities your organization do. Again, maybe not only people, but just activities, other goals like sub goals, like secondary goals. Maybe you do something really great with your organization, but doing this great in your organization makes your people tired, exhaust your organization, and possibly prevents you of reaching your main goals in your organization in better way, in faster way. Guys, please think about this idea right now. Think deeper within your organization and your experience in your organization, your activity as a leader, maybe not only. And think, is there anything your organization traditionally do? Is there anything your organization did all the time you cooperated with your organization that is you consider, you think is not so crucial, not so important, and maybe you think your organization can save some effort, some workload, some time, some power by stopping doing something, reaching some secondary goals, so like three-level goals, and focusing on main level goals, first level goals. If you think it is the case, it is the thing of your organization, could you please put one into the chat? Just if you think there are some specific activities that should be finished within your organization, should be stopped within your organization to focus better on main goals and to reach better results finally. If you consider this is the thing of your organization, this is the case of your personal case, could you please put just number one into the chat, like first goal? We did such, but stopped it. Yelena, thank you very much. Great example. That's very good. So good to you, as people say. So that's great. Okay, let's go next. The thing that goes from all those old school books. Here's kind of this person in a helmet of how to say, helmet of construction builder. So the main idea is to know your job. Again, just to be able to do your everyday job, not the leadership job, not the management job, but the job of youth trainer, possibly, youth leader, organizer, mostly yes, the coach, psychotherapist, and so on and so forth. That's it. Okay. Next one, the calendar. I wrote this way, the calendar, I don't know, Trello or Outlook calendar or whatever. So the thing of responsibility, sense of responsibility is again about responsibility. It said a lot about responsibility, so no more words. One more thing, empathy or emotional intelligence. So understanding the emotions, your emotions, to be able to step away from the position of participant of any conflict and understand your emotions and get rid of your emotions and become calm, relax, relief, and think and solve the problem. Yeah. So, and not only also understanding of emotions of other people. What do they feel? Why do they feel? And what will they feel after you're doing something for them? And of course, just to repeat the ideas from your side, flexibility. One more very interesting thing I didn't tell previously, self-confidence and willpower. This is a picture of this smile character somewhere on high, column or somewhere. Be able to respect yourself, not only respect others. Again, it connected with the example, with personal example, with the role model, because respecting yourself, you teach other people how to respect themselves. Or disrespecting yourself, you teach other people how to disrespect yourself. It is good in some specific, it was good in some specific historical cases, like to be a good slave. I mean, to die in order to reach the goal of the community, for example, like in how to call in English this place the nest of ants, the place where ants live. I don't remember the word. I mean, the hive of ants. What is the specific word for the hive of ants? Could you please remind me, guys, in the chat? In English, I do not remember how to say it like this. Home or hive or nest of ants. Don't you remember? Please help me. Hill, ant hill. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, good. So, and in ant hill, some ants sacrifice themselves to reach the goal to let all the colony survive. And like, this is not always the case. I mean, I think totally not the case for modern approach. You should respect yourself. It's kind of idea of a hero. Hero is the one who dies while reaching the goal and help others to reach the goal. So hero dies during on his way to the goal. But the leader is the one who reaches the goal and enjoy the consequences. And I recommend everybody of you to be the leader to reach the goal. Good. What else here in this list? Out of the box thinking, strategic thinking, teamwork, understanding of the team, and flexibility. That's it. Any ideas? Any questions so far? What do you think about it? Your ideas, your feedback, your questions? It sounds like a Superman. Well, yeah, because it always goes about ideal leader. That is why actually I gave you this 4 roles of leadership concept first, because I like this concept much more, much better. But today we're going technically to the end of the session, and we have just one more question to discuss. I would say, guys, the typical mistakes of leader. Please think about it yourself and propose your ideas. What can be the typical, of course, unwanted, not desired, but anyway, common, oftenly met, oftenly seen mistakes of the leader? What are the possible typical mistakes of the leader? And again, I will be happy to compare your ideas. You're welcome to put those ideas into the chat right now. And I propose you to compare those ideas of mistakes of a leader with the approach from some books that are proposed in some books. So again, kind of information of kind of very important, very skilled, let's say, people who wrote those books about leadership. And would you like me to draw again those ideas on a picture as previous, or it's okay just to tell them? What do you think? Okay, I see your answers. Not delegating too much control of the team, lack of confidence with the team, over focused on goals, think they're always right. Very good, very good. Continue, please. Okay, I will not draw it, so we will discuss it. Over the limit of self-confidence. Okay, good, good, good. Well, possibly I see that in the information I prepared for you guys, there are some new ideas that I don't see in the chat yet. Self-confidence. Good. So let's run through the ideas I prepared. I mean, these ideas from very clever books, if you don't mind, of course, and then again run on your ideas, because I like your ideas even better than all those old school books. So first, common mistake of a leader is not taking time to bond with people, not to be interested in people, not learning people, not getting in connection. You see, it's connected with this I concept, I role of manager, or I role of leader, the integration role. So again, people still love to communicate, and yes, if you focus on production or administrative or again entrepreneurship, flying, like building the castles on a cloud, then you lose something. You lose the possibility to communicate with those people, to talk to people, and so on and so forth. One more idea, being unavailable and inaccessible. Being unavailable and inaccessible. Well, it is kind of conflict with the idea I proposed you previously, approximately like 40 or 50, about 40 minutes ago, when I recommend to become a little bit unacceptable, unavailable, inaccessible for specific time, to take time for your personality. Anyway, you see some other books, I mean business books, books that concentrate on business leadership, on business management. They recommend, as by the way, as I told you previously, again, as I told you 40 minutes ago, they recommend to manager on a business to be accessible, to be available every time, like all the time, whole the day, 24/7. That's it. Well, one more very important mistake of leader I somehow mentioned, I mean, not the mistake, but the rule for leaders I mentioned on our previous session and I mentioned today. The rule is to develop the talents of your team. And the mistake is not focusing on development talents. So again, people can bring more benefit to organization if they can do more, if they know more. So this is even very beautiful calculations of how much money can investment into the staff education brings you in your organization. And yes, right now I need a piece of whiteboard to draw kind of a picture. I hope you can see it. If you can't, please let me know. This is possibly, yeah, approximately this. This shape of the graph is kind of relation of how much money return or return of investment can your team bring to you. I mean, again, return of investment, here's this term from business when we evaluate the success by money, by profit. But you, of course, you're welcome to evaluate the success by a successful project, by people who enjoy the activity and so on. So any kind of return of investment. And here is the time when you started to educate your people. What does this mean? Very interesting. At the very beginning, it is useless to educate people because they don't, I mean, at the very beginning of the project, any kind of project, it is useless because people just don't know what are they doing, what is the project about. They are not in the project yet. I mean, on 0 point, on this point. So this level not so high. But if you start educating them approximately in the beginning of your project, they can bring a very big return of investment. But the problem is there is kind of extremum of this function here, high top point. And then if you start educate those people later or later or later or later, this education will bring less and less return of investment to your organization, to your project. So people will bring less and less result to your work, to your work of your organization, of your team, if they start learning something, educating themselves later. Is it clear enough? What do you think about this graph I showed you? Please give me your ideas. And we go in, while I'm waiting for your ideas, for your feedback, we are going to next. Next very important mistake of leader, not giving a feedback about performance. Any feedback, again, it's connected with communication, it's connected with business most of all. This idea came from business. So when you work with people and people provide your organization with any kind of performance, with any kind of result, give them the feedback from time to time, regularly, or maybe irregularly, sporadically. Let them know, okay, this day you was not so good as previous day, but previous day you were like perfect. If you can keep this level, keep it. If you feel good enough about providing this us with such kind of performance, so well performance. Good. Any questions? Any ideas? Anything? Okay. We will get back to your ideas very soon. Some more ideas of mistakes, not taking emotions into account. Track the emotions. We all are people, we all humans. Even your emotions are very important. So emotions of yourself, of you guys, as the leaders, as the managers, and emotions of people you work with. Next, managing conflicts ineffectively or inefficiently. Yeah, conflicts, as we discussed, like, you will see conflicts always, so you should be ready to deal with them and to cope with them anytime. And next point, pretty interesting, not driving changes. People like to change. Okay, no, okay, I wouldn't say like to change. It's not 100% true. Sometimes people are afraid of changes, but your organization can survive only while changing all the time, constantly, because the world is changing, and if you don't, you just became redundant, you became like outdated, obsolete. Well, next, very common mistake, not motivating people. And yeah, I'm discussing motivation through all my training session, through all my training course, but possibly today did we discuss motivation in our previous session? Could you please remind me, guys? Did we say a single word about motivation, about how it connected with people on our previous session? Because I do not remember. What about motivation? Did we tell about that previously? Because yeah, it is important, and people normally losing their motivation from time to time. I told you today about 2 years period, and of course there are kind of shorter periods of losing motivation, getting it back, losing it back, getting it back, and you should always constantly remotivate. So yeah, thank you, Anya. I see possibly we didn't tell deeply about it. And finally, one very interesting idea of common mistake, I mean, idea from the books of common mistake of leaders is managing activities instead of managing people. Very interesting, like, twist. Like, we as leaders, we are not leaders who manage activities, we always lead people, because they are people who drive activities, who address the effort to reach any goals. That is why we finally manage people. And let me please get back to your ideas. Maybe, yes, I'm sure you have something really good. Not delegating. Yes, Alba, totally agree with you. It is important. Too much control of the team. Great. It's a very good idea. So-called, sometimes it's called micromanagement. Some people think that okay, there are some different concepts. So let your people feel free. Let your people feel some freedom in the activities. It will help them enjoying your organization, enjoying your company, your activity, your project. Lack of confidence from the team, their team. Lack of confidence from their team. Alba, if you are with us, I don't see you in the list of attendees. If you are with us, please explain what did you think. But yeah, I think you drop off. Over-focused on goals. Agree. That's it. So forgetting about people, forgetting about emotions, forgetting about all this stuff. Yeah. Think they are always right. Perfect. Great idea. To become selfish. Yes. To see only himself. Like to stop giving feedback to yourself. Like, very great idea. So people just lose their orientation. They lose the possibility for strategic thinking. They stop seeing the weak points of themselves, I mean leaders, with this mistake, and they stop finding the weak points of the activity of the organization they actually manage. Over the limit of self-confidence, possibly it's connected with previous Saba, please let me know if not. Disregarding private life, yes, that's it, agree with you. And yeah, this is it from your side. Well, yeah, and technically this is it from my side, guys. So this is all. So it was kind of very complicated piece of information, very concentrated piece of information about leadership, about some positive and negative sides of leadership. And I hope, let me please check if you can see this. Yeah, possibly you can. So this is about qualities of leader. We started with some concept, just to remind you, to recap today's session. We started with some those concepts, additional concepts like responsibility, empathy, example being an example, can do, can delegate, teach, cure, punish, or kill, if you wish, how to improve the leadership, okay, so some qualities and how to develop those qualities, and of course, mistakes of a leader. Well, that's it. You're welcome to shoot your questions out if you have some, and I have just one more request to you guys. Let me please share with you a link to the file. In a few seconds, I'm preparing this link. Give me a sec. Yes. Okay. Good. I will share with you a link to the file, and I would kindly ask everybody of you to type in this file your email you usually use for communicating with me or with Emma, with the organizer of this training course, and the name, your name you would like to see on the certificates. The idea is at the end of this course, all of you will be rewarded with the certificates of graduate as expert trainers. Unfortunately, we have lack of possibilities to check your practical skills, but I really believe, yeah, I hear your questions and I see your participation in the course. And yeah, so I will definitely give those certificates to you guys, to everybody who listened to me right now live, or everybody who is watching this video in recording in YouTube. So you are welcome to find this link, and possibly, yes, I need to post, I will post this link also in the YouTube in the comments to this video in YouTube. So please go to follow this link, and guys, please try to follow this link right now. Okay, I see you are here. So you will see the first tab called expert. You will see the column email and column name, surname for certificate. And I would kindly ask you, I don't care about your real name, it's not my business. Don't care about your passport name. I just would ask you to give me the email we usually use for communication, the actual email of your email ID, and the name you would like to see on the certificate, the name you would like to see on the certificate you put on the floor, or you add to your portfolio and show to your boss, like, yeah, I passed this course, I got the certificate, so I'm an expert trainer. So please add an email, add a name you would like to see. Make sure you checked the name and you're sure that the spelling of your name is correct. Possibly I will ask you to do the same for several more times to check again the name approximately at the end of the course, somewhere in end of March or even in April. By the way, we already reached approximately middle of the course, even more than middle of the course. So we have passed possibly more sessions than we still should. And that's it. So I need your emails, I need your names, and yeah, I will prepare certificates for you. And right now we are going to the end of the session. This session, as you see, was not so interactive, unfortunately, but full of information, more concentrated. So guys, please give me your feedback. How useful was it? And how, of course, most important question, this is the most important question for me. How can you implement it? How can you utilize this information? How can this information you obtained today will help you to be more effective as youth workers, as youth worker experts? How can you implement it, utilize it, make your life better and make the world better using this information? Please give me your answers in the chat of our call about the implementation of this information. Maybe something was really new, interesting, shocking, mind-blowing for you. Maybe not. Maybe something was like too obvious and like you don't like to hear about this stuff again and again. Maybe something you feel like was pretty unclear for you, and you still can ask, and we can discuss it because we still have some time. So please give me your feedback, and you're welcome to initiate any discussion regarding the content of the session. From Lena, how can we find out what mistakes as leaders do we have? Great. Well, coaching with high-skilled coach, leadership coach, it's kind of good result, but very expensive, very effective and efficient, but very expensive. Or reading more, learning more, and providing more self-reflection, Yelena. So reflect on yourself, and even more important, change the processes. Add additional process to your activity. What does this mean? In your organization, if you have, Yelena, please let me know, are you the single only leader in your organization, or you have kind of a board of leaders? And like single, okay, it becomes more complicated. So find some peers for yourself, some leaders of organizations, some people who can help you. Find those people who would like to develop themselves as leaders and start organizing any kind of meetings, maybe online, maybe offline, with a team, with anything, maybe once per week, maybe once bi-weekly, maybe once per month, and discuss some like ideas, discuss some concepts, and discuss your practice. Of course, this would be much better if you communicate this way with co-workers, with colleagues, with peers in the organization, if you have kind of board of leaders, and you discuss it and you like provide one another with your feedback, like that was really good, that was not so good, and you find together, you say, remember that one head is good, two heads is approximately 2 times better. So the idea is to add a specific process, to change the process. So to add this kind of leadership feedback sessions, LFS, let's say, leadership feedback sessions, when you exchange your experience with somebody. But of course, this is better to have a person who like in charge of your organization, who understand how to behave, the person who can see yourself, not just hear your own idea, your own stories about your life, because you always can be one-sided, you always can be subjective, you always cannot tell objectively the position of another side. So this is better to have some kind of peer from your organization, much better. Yelena, so this kind of, yes, but of course you can try to do it with some just leaders of other organizations, like call them, email them, start a new process, start a training course, like invite people like you, leaders of organizations, to discuss, again, initiate a project within Erasmus+, get the money from Erasmus+ for this leadership feedback session, beautiful name, yes, LFS, leadership feedback session. So when leaders just come and discuss their practice and they find like weak points, they provide maybe SWOT analysis for their activities, and they understand what can be done in better way in their approach to leadership. Well, possibly that's it I can recommend. In all other ideas you possibly know yourself. So read books, provide self-reflection, compare with yourself. Learn some good, yes, one interesting idea, very good. Learn the best practices. Learn the stories of good leaders, compare it with yourself. Old school leaders like James Ford, what is the name? I don't remember. Mr. Ford, who organizes Ford Company. James Ford, Tom Ford. I don't remember the name of that legendary Ford, or some specific presidents. So John Ford. Thank you very much, Elena. Yes. So Steve Jobs, good example. Yes, pretty good, pretty well. And I recommend to focus on modern leadership because the world has changed a lot. So that's it, Yelena. If I helped you somehow, somewhat, please let me know. And let me please touch some other questions. David, I'm interested too much how to do that. Okay, again, about how to understand mistakes as leaders. So David, also please share your understanding. Was it useful or not? Like, what can you do with that? Next, Anya, can you explain the cure part shortly again from teach, cure, kill? Teach, you just transfer the knowledge. You explain everything, how to behave, how to deal, what to do to the people in your organization. Cure starts when those people start doing themselves something. They start doing these activities themselves. Possibly they make mistakes. Again, you teach. And in the point, if they make mistake and you teach them how not to make those mistakes, like they continue repeating those mistakes again and again, it means teaching is not enough. Something should be changed. Possibly they are not like agree with your way of teaching. Maybe they not agree with your personality. Maybe they not agree with just goals of the organization and the path of the organization. So something other. So teaching is just giving them the information, providing them with the knowledge on how to do their, let's say, activity, how to act. But curing them means changing their attitude, changing their approach, changing possibly your approach to change their attitude. So if they have conflicts with you, with goals, with other people in the organization, go deeper in those conflicts, help them to find a way to get rid of those conflicts, to overcome this conflict, and get back to this position of perfect teammate of your organization. Change their mind somehow. Or finally, if it is impossible, if you tried for many times, it didn't help finally to kill. So let's say, yeah, that was like my way of explaining that. And yeah, Anya, please like let me know if you understood it now. If not, please even clarify your question even better. Next, Gerrit, thanks for Uchilichi Machi. Yes, that sounds nice in Russian. I guess I'm not forgetting this part. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was useful. Thank you. Saba, right now I'm scanning myself as a leader. Thank you. I was really informative and useful. I like concept of teach, cure, kill. Thank you. Yes. So yeah, I see there are no more questions. Guys, so thank you very much for your attention. If there are no more questions, we are absolutely free to drop from this call and finish. So again, thank you very much for your time. It was a great pleasure for you, for me, to recall all this information, to prepare to the session, like to read additional materials, possibly to refresh it. And it was a great pleasure for me to face your questions, to find answers, to make myself think, and of course, to help you when I could help you. Well, that's it. Please shut your question, prepare a question for our live session. What do we have next time? Let me please check. Okay, next time actually we have Q&A session, Q&A seminar, and that is good. So prepare your even more challenging question. We will talk about the trolling. We'll tell about the trolling and this advanced management ideas next week. And thank you for putting your emails and names for certificates. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great rest of this Tuesday. All the best. Bye-bye.